NASA needs apps, and so NASA might just need you. The space agency is holding a special Space Apps Challenge here at the Royal Ontario Museum next month. This is going to be open to artists, to makers, to content creators, to hardware specialists, to geeks, to enthusiasts. It's going to be a big social event where you can show off your skills and pick up new skills as well.
Well, the NASA International Space Apps Challenge is a global 48-hour hackathon. 75 cities are participating. Toronto and Winnipeg are the Canadian cities. It's a hackathon in which, at least in Toronto, 150 people will be competing. On the Friday night, they form teams and decide what they want to work on, one of over 30 challenges offered by NASA, and by the end they'll have developed prototypes and be submitting them to an expert panel of judges to select ones that they feel are worthy of
international play?
Yeah.
So within 48 hours we're expecting participants to work on these NASA curated challenges. So there's about 50 that NASA has done worldwide. We're focusing on 24 here in Toronto. And the goal of the weekend is just to get as much out as possible. So we're looking for people to create prototypes, whether or not they're fully designed and fully functioning. Even if they get to the goal and core objective of the challenge, we're just really excited to see what people can hack on in 48 hours.
And when you mean 48 hours, you mean no sleep?
So what we'll be doing is we'll be starting at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. We'll be going to midnight on Saturday, and the next day we'll be going from 7 a.m. to I believe it's like 2 or 3 p.m. We're just figuring out the judging panel and final logistics of that schedule right now. But that being said, it's not a full 48 hours. People might be working at home between 12 a.m. and 7 a.m. To get things out the door. But the majority of the time will be done over the weekend, potentially on the Friday evening as well.
When you mean an app, are we talking about iPhone, a tablet app? Is this something for the web? Just what is the range that you're looking for?
So it can be a mobile app, but it can be also anything hardware, physical. So people will be coming and building robotics challenges. There's a 3D printing challenge where you have to design something that's useful in space or useful in educating people about space that you have to print on a 3D printer. To web apps, to lights that light up when certain things happen in space or to certain satellites. Everything hardware, software, mobile. We're finding that among the 100 people that have signed up so far, most of them are either engineers that work in aerospace or are makers in the Toronto community. So that's a maker is someone who is used to making something with their hands or with tools instead of just buying it. To seasoned developers, app developers, software developers. We're getting a lot of more experienced people too.
So the hope here isn't that people are going to create a product at the end of the session. It's about the process itself.
Exactly. So it's all about the process. So we're going to have mentors at the event. We're going to be having all sorts of things to encourage people to think creatively and work together and collaborate. This isn't much of a competition, this is more of a collaboration. We're working with 75 other countries or other events across the world and trying to figure out how we can solve these real life challenges that NASA has proposed to us so that we can, make people realize that space is a lot closer than they think it is.
Do you have to know how to make things? Do you have to know how to code? What if you're just someone who's interested in space? Is this...
Absolutely. There are some great challenges for people who know how to use Lego and know how to use a pen and paper and markers. You can design a mission without being able to build it. I mean, that's what half the people at NASA do. They design missions, they're project managers, they don't necessarily know how to build a satellite themselves with their own hands. There are great Lego Mindstorm stuff, a lot of applications that people know how to use already, they don't realize can be used for designing and making things for 3D printing. So check out the website, get a lot more information about the different challenges. There's certainly something for everyone.
So there's all sorts of applications that are being created by people, whether it be allowing people to put together and sync up open source data that NASA's put out onto the internet, whether it be a schedule that allows people to see when satellites are pointing outwards towards space, to hardware challenges that allow you to essentially say what the weather's like on Mars at the current point in time based on data that NASA's got open source on the internet. So there's a wide range of challenges from hardware to mobile to web. We have designers, developers of software and hardware. We have strategists and thinkers and people who understand space and the complexities it has, all in the same room at the Royal Ontario Museum, working together to complete these challenges over the course of the weekend.
The benefit of participating, is this an opportunity to get a career with NASA?
It's definitely an opportunity to be recognized by NASA. Certainly, teams that get recognition here, not win the competition, but are recognized by our judges as some of the best, will go on for recognition by NASA if they think you're best of category. So it really is an opportunity not just to be recognized by NASA, but also the Toronto community and the international community. Remember, 75 cities are competing, and all of them will be looking to see who the notable groups are from around the world.
How important is it to you to have the ROM as a partner?
It's huge. Our Hack-A-Thon in Toronto is going to be one of the largest out of the 75 cities doing this Hack-A-Thon around the world. We could only do something so large. It's just a few of us running this Hack-A-Thon. Without participation of major public institutions like the ROM, we couldn't do this. This would either be in my basement or in my office. It couldn't be this big. It couldn't reach as many people as it is. So it's incredibly important, and we're thrilled that the ROM is working with us for it.
This is an interesting project for you because we're talking about 48 hours. This is not about people coming in during the day and then leaving to go home. You're actually supporting a program that's going to be taking place over the entire course of a weekend.
That's right. So, typically we think of museums closing at 5 o'clock and everybody going home, but no, this is going to be 48 hours, almost around the clock that people can be, accessing the museum. Hopefully they'll have, these backdrops of minerals and meteorites. We have, pieces of Mars and pieces of the Moon sitting here in the museum. Maybe this could be inspiration for new missions and new apps in the future.
When it comes to space, I think my favorite app right now has to be a Star Walk. It's an app for iPhone and iPad. Essentially, it allows your phone or tablet to be pointed up towards space, and you can actually see the different constellations and see what they're named. So up at a place in Huntsville, Camp Olympia, I was up there, and it's like one of the clearest skies I've ever seen, and being able to see the stars for one of the times that we don't get to see it as often in Toronto was amazing. But to be able to look up and point my phone in the sky and be able to impress people with my knowledge of constellations was amazing.
Is there an app that you can recommend?
No.
No?
But there's one that's coming out. Hey, there's one that's coming out from the guys that designed SkyCube. It's the satellite Kickstarter project. And the app actually did just come out, but you'll soon be able to use it to download photos that this little satellite is taking as it goes around Earth, or as it orbits. You'll also be able to tweet from space. So you can send a tweet for the SkyCube to then send out to everyone in the world. But for now, you can use it to track all the satellites that are orbiting around Earth. You can see the ISS, or the International Space Station, as it travels over Toronto and the world, and point it up and see where it is in the sky.
Well, I have lots of favorites, I should say, but my favorite right now is Angry Birds Space. After a long day at work, I just go on the train and just kind of relax, and that's what I've been using right now, so that is my favorite.
And I mean, do you find that the physics that's included in the game to be accurate? Is it, does it relate to what you do at work?
That would be a stretch, perhaps, of flying birds and angry pigs, but it is very relaxing. So even my daughter, my 3-year-old daughter, has a great time with it. So it's a kind of a family fun one for us.